collaboration, because what we've been hearing, right? The schools can't do it all alone. Districts can't. As we move into looking at college readiness and career preparation, we've got to add something to that equation. I'm not going to say any more, really. We have invited folks from Memphis, we heard some of them last year, to share about an important collaboration they're undertaking. And you heard some last year about Peer Power. There have been all sorts of exciting changes this year and additions, and we'd like to share some of those with you. We've got Dennis Ring, who's Director of Community Development, and the Deputy Superintendent. The Superintendent became Superintendent last night, so he had a lot of press, and we have a wonderful substitute. And Tom Neenan, who is Provost of the University of Memphis, and they will discuss some of what is going on there that has made this year so exciting in terms of doing exactly what Sahar just discussed, which is support for students in a meaningful way, and students listening to students. So how can I turn it over to you and welcome.
Joanne, thank you so much for having us. I don't know about you, but I came in this morning, we got up at 3:30 in Memphis, we hopped on a plane, we flew here, I sat down, I ate those eggs, they were really good, and I was like, oh, I may not make it. And then all of a sudden, the energy in this room of talking about things that are near and dear to our heart, the ability to help children that may need more help than we can give, as an individual, but collectively we can do it. We are helping, we feel blessed to be a partner with Shelby County Schools and with University of Memphis. Last year when we came here, we were primarily a single funded with a philanthropic gentleman, which not every community has. We heard what was said, that you couldn't have everyone, and we now have, are proud to announce that Shelby County Schools has just came into and will be supporting us, and we're actually going to grow into 2 more schools. And when I say supporting us, we're a $4 million budget. They're coming in for University of Memphis has also jumped in and put us on the campus to where we have expanded. I'll let them talk about that. I'll introduce Dr. Tom Neiman and Dr. Angela Whiteball, our esteemed partners in Memphis.
Thank you. Again, my name is Angela Whitelaw, and I am so proud that I serve over 109,000 students in Shelby County, Memphis, Tennessee. Just to give you a little backdrop about the work and why it's so important in our school district, we have, again, 109,000 students. 40% of our students come from poverty, 40%. Also, there's some good news that we have, that 79% of our students graduate from our high schools. So we're super proud of that work, and I've heard so many of you all talk about that. But what we are still working on, 23% of our students graduate with an ACT score of 21 or higher. So that's what we are. So why do we need peer power in this work? Why they are so important in this work? Why we believe in the work that they do? Just a couple of things. Peer power started with us over 14 years ago, and I think a light bulb came on for all of us 2 years ago, because we saw the power that it was having on all of our students at Whitehaven High School. Whitehaven High School, they have about 2,200 students, and inside of that school, most of the students, 90% of the students eat free and reduced lunch. But yet, Whitehaven is known across the district, across Memphis, across Tennessee, for the School of Academics. But we decided to change it as well and make it a school for academics. And Peer Power had a strong hold inside of that school. What did they offer? Actually, I'd like to brag about Peer Power, because they're actually helping not only our seniors, but other classes, because they bring tutors to the building, and they teach side by side with our teachers, and that's just the power of them being able to tutor, to really reach in, to really help our students in need. The second point that I love about peer power, they are mentors. Because when students of color see students of color mentoring them, then they become part of the way, a part of the journey that they want to change for the community. So again, that's why peer power is so important to Shelby County schools. And the third thing about peer power that's changing, we want to reimagine Shelby County, we want to reimagine Memphis, we want to reimagine our schools. And the only way that we do that we decided that we had to be a partner, we had to be a team. Not only do we want people to come into our schools to support us, but we actually want to be part of how do you support us, how do you help us, how do you ensure that our students are leaving high school ready for college, or leaving high school ready for a career. And again, they are coaching, they are helping, they are mentoring. And with that, we have the relationship with the University of Memphis, because we couldn't do this work without them. We couldn't do the work without having a strong partnership with a university that actually, they want to be part of the school district. Again, how do they do that? They offer their time, they offer their support. And I think Dennis said a very important piece. I want to thank them because for 12 years, we didn't have a buy-in. 12 years. They paid $7 million in our district and did all of this work. But they came to the table saying, hey, Shelby County, what's your buy-in now? And we decided that we had to, because we see so many of our students taking a different journey, taking a different path because of the work that they do. So it's not something that I'm trying to write a story about. I'm really actually living it. And I've been in the district 27 years. So I actually see it. I actually know what's happening. And so again, for the last 2 years, we now, not only been a partner, but we're contributing to the success of what's happening in schools. And that is our story, that's our journey. And now I'm going to turn it over to the famous person from the University of Memphis, and let him talk about his journey as well. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tom Neenan. I've had a lot of jobs at the University of Memphis. The one I like best still is a philosophy professor, but they give me a lot of administrative assignments over the years. And in some of those assignments, I was, they called it at the time, Vice Provost Undergraduate Programs. It was in charge of, our success rates weren't too great, and so I was to be in charge of retention and graduation rates. So a lot of the topics that we were talking about here are things that I lived. We moved the needle a lot during that time, and we're working on some quantum leaps again. I think you're going to see we're going to do like another 15 weeks or so. We'll get it something that we can be really proud of. I'm proud of the progress. I'm not proud of the number yet. So that's where we are. Peer power fits for us in a lot of ways. We are, some of you might know, we are not only the only four-year public institution in that part of the state or in that region, we are also the only large research university here. So, one of the things we know, say for instance for peer power, is they need tutors. There's some really good small colleges around us, and they can supply 10 or 15 of them. But when Charlie McVeigh, the philanthropist and visionary that visited us, said, I need 150, because the school system had now said, and the principal of Light David and the East had said, you know what, if we're going to affect not just the best students, so peer power in the first years was succeeding with the best students, and they were putting people in the Ivy League schools. Recruiters were coming into the schools where we had peer power, and they're saying, we need diversity students that can succeed. And somehow or other, we're getting these students that are from Pell-eligible families that are also minority students, and they are coming up with amazing ACTs. And so we were putting them all over the country, but they weren't coming back to Memphis. And we were also helping a smaller number succeed. And Vince Hunter at Whitehead said, if this is going to work, we're going to have to do better. We want to change it for all the students. We don't want to be moving the 23 to the 32. What we really need to be moving is the 18s to the 22. If we can do that on a large scale, that's how we really change outcomes, not just to the few students and their families, but the whole community. And so the principal invited them in and then gave the trust was key And Charlie and I was asking for money for something else, and he said he didn't have any money, he's investing in Peer Power, but he needs some students. And I said, well, we got that, we can do that. And so we put them in. And we did it because we know at the University of Memphis our job is to improve the community. But there was also a pretty selfish reason in it, and that is I still worry a lot about graduation rates. I still worry a lot about our student success. And it turns out this is really important for our students. University of Memphis, about 60% of our students are still Pell eligible. And so they're going to work. You know, early on I tried to say, and I told them background, I didn't completely understand it. You know, my father could afford to send us off to college. He said, I'm paying all this money for college. I don't want you working too much. I want you working at this academics. And it could work. So I came in and I would give this little spiel, you know, parents, y'all need to tell your children not to work so much. You know, and then I got to know a little bit more about the families. I realized this is not going to happen. So what we can talk about is what kind of work you're going to do, right? What kind of work you're going to do. And this is the kind of work I want to do. This is the kind of work where they're refreshing their own academic skills, where they're deepening. What's the best way to get good at math? Teach somebody math. How do you get really clear? Actually think not about your writing, but talk about how you write and teach writing. On top of that, and so this is work that is honing their academic skills, it's getting them motivation. And so success coaches is what we call tutors, who are very strongly trained, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But they graduate at a rate about 25 points over. What's the exact number there? Something like that?
Well, it's actually 32 points.
32 points, so I guess that just shows how they graduate. They graduate within 6 years at a rate that's more like the Harvard student than the typical University of Memphis student. So they get that graduation rate that we aspire to. They also graduate, regardless of whether they're going to be a teacher or not, with skills. What do most of our engineers need most? What do most of our scientists need most? Communication skills. What are they learning there? Communication skills. Right? They're learning leadership skills. They're learning teamwork skills. So they are becoming better and preparing themselves for careers afterwards. That's really important for us. So they have a good paying job, enhancing their academic skills, enhancing their life skills, and they're learning a very important message that we want to send to the University of Memphis they're giving back. And they're doing all those things. So for us, this is a huge benefit. And what we've also seen, and that's why I'm glad this is a partnership increasingly also with our College of Ed, is what we're seeing is some of these students that they're looking around and they realize, okay, I'm a biology major, and it looks like I'm not going to be a doctor, but they've got a 3.2. They're a perfectly good science student. And they don't want to work in a lab, they like working with people. And decide, you know what, I might be a teacher. Or through Peer Power, they're getting conducted, and now working with them, we're going to come up with an accelerated program so the biology major will come out a long way of the way towards having licensure. So this is now creating a pipeline of students that are now interested in becoming teachers, which is another side benefit. And it helps us to put our students in a better position to be successful in their career, and some of them choosing teaching. And what we know at the University of Memphis is where so many of our students come from this area. One of the biggest problems we had for a long time on enrollment was our suburban students were qualifying, but the urban students were not qualifying for college. And that's where our largest populations were. So we got selfish reason there too. If we can help Whitehaven, and you saw those banners there, if we can help Whitehaven have more good students, a percentage of them's coming to us. Some of them went off to Notre Dame, they still go to Howard, they go to Morehouse, they have their aspirational places. But I told them, come back here and go to grad school. You know, come back here and have your career here. But a lot of them will stay here, then they become Peer Power mentors. So it helps us have more college-ready students, and some percentage of them is coming to us and then feeding them. So this is really one of those win-win-wins. Two things we've added since last year, and the first one is what Angela talked about, and this is where if you're trying to implement this in your city, you might find somebody that says, take what, I'll fund it for a few years, I'll find some sort of foundation that will help. Because what we did have to do, and what Peer Power did, not we, Peer Power, established the trust. They established a track record. They showed that this thing that worked at Whitehaven could now work in another school, and now they're going to say it's going to work in 5 more schools, and if it does, then they're going to have the case to say, you know what, we can fund it some more. In your own city, you're going to say, that might work in Memphis, I don't know if it's going to work here. So if you find somebody to prop the pump and get it going, I would bet that you can find that your school district will also learn this is a very good deal for them and turning something sustainable. That's the big change that we have since last year, and that's why we know that actually over time, we're going to need to have about 500 students. And that, we said, you know what, we're going to have the Peer Power Institute be at the University of Memphis. They're helping fund a couple of their staff members, great staff members, who instead of being in their headquarters now on our campus to be there to recruit all the time, to talk to the students, to help the students and be on our campus. We're going to have their attributes loaded into our Banner student record system. We can run reports on anybody's success, on the success of the alums, so we can run all that. So we now have a Peer Power Institute with members of the staff there who are also members of the staff at the University of Memphis, and this is going to allow us to expand into this cooperation. So it's working for us, and I think at least elements of it can work for you. Let me mention the last one, and that is one of the things I hope we're going to do is that our tutors on our campus have usually been tutored because they're good at math, but we have not been teaching them about teaching. And one of the things that Peer Power does really well is talk to them about teaching and learning, using actually the latest scientific and empirical data, but also just using things we know from forever. I'm a philosophy professor. A lot of things we've known for a long time. People respond to people caring about them. People respond to people respecting them. People respond to people modeling what they're teaching you. And so Peer Power is very clear that one of the things they're talking about is character. They're looking at people in character, they're talking about character, they're very openly talking about character and these kinds of traits. And I want that for all my tutors on my campus. So we're really proud that Peer Power is there because we think that it's going to help our tutors, not just our success coaches in the schools, but I want to learn from what we're doing for the training of all our tutors on our campus for our own University of Memphis students as well. And going in like the philosophy professors talk to you all. Dennis, or any questions?
I might ask, how much does this cost? You think of Uber? You have a car, you have insurance, you have a phone, you have the time. We have a school system, we have the building, we have the teachers. For $750 per student, in a school of 1,000, we could put enough success coaches in English, math, and science classes to reduce the size from 30 students and 1 adult, the teacher, 30 students and 3 adults. So we realize these are not teachers. They're more or less teacher assistants with very good knowledge of them. But for $750, $137.50 a quarter, we can reduce that class size with adults in there that helps. You know, I mean, by this time of the year, for those of you who have taught, you might just need a break to go to the window and look outside for a second and take a breath. But it's also the part that brought me to Peer Power when we moved to Memphis was not the effect it was going to have on the college student or the high school student. I'm a lifelong educator. I looked at the effect it was going to have on teacher retention, because that is where we can make the biggest difference is when a teacher feels like they can do something and be supported and try new things. They're going to try the new things. There's not a single teacher in a school, I believe, that walks in and goes, today I want to be a crappy teacher. But there's some days that crappy things happen and you are just sort of stuck. When you have our success coaches who are 19, 20, 21, and 22 come rolling in there with smiles on their faces and teaching, you know, helping you teach, you get another energy. That's one of the things that makes it special. This is hard work. Teaching is hard work, and we put over 2,000 hours a week into this. Not 2,000 people doing 1 hour a week, but people. So you're a success coach, you're in the same class at the same time with the same teacher each week. And you build relationships, so it works. And then with partners like this who are telling us what they need, then we collaborate on how do we make it happen. I believe it can happen in a lot of places, not every place. In a lot of places, this type of partnership can happen.
And I think that what I did point out, and I really want to push in with this, It is becoming a pipeline for us because in our urban school district, we are struggling with finding teachers who are certified in math, science, and ELA. So for us, this is the pipeline that we need. And while we're waiting on teachers, Pure Power, they have been a great support because even with a new teacher, a seasoned teacher, having that extra person in that room that has the pedagogy and the content and the knowledge about the work, and you're having a small group, it's just powerful to have that type of work happening in a high school around small group instruction, around teacher engagement, around student engagement. So those are the things that I am super proud of in the program. Also, last year we scaled it up, and now we're moving into 5 schools, a total of 5. That will have an impact on 5,000 students in our district. Again, we're in big high schools, small high schools, but we're trying to spread the love across the city. Because also I want to point out that not only do they share with us Pure Power, every month they have ACT University for so many Saturdays. So Pure Power, they are actually opening their doors to our other high schools and our other high school students so that they can come in and give this support and work around this ACT work. And again, in our district, the average score is 17, and we're just trying to push the needle and keep it moving and help our students get up parking and keep moving forward.
Just briefly, brief description of what success centers do, just those and citing the support they get at the university as far as selection, training, and so on.
So Mary Ann Grace is our director of training. So I'm gonna let Mary Grace, I've done it twice now. Mary Grace is, I'm gonna let her speak to that if you don't mind.
So basically what we do for training is we focus on 3 different components. We focus on social emotional learning, which includes the character education that Dr. Nate was talking about. We talk about content knowledge, so of course reviewing math, English, science. And then we also teach some basic learning theories and pedagogical skills so that our tutors can basically get into the classroom with some sorts of background knowledge about education so that they can then assist their teacher appropriately. We always emphasize that they should be adaptable to their teacher's teaching style and not really impose their own ideas on the classroom. And basically the way that we do this is we have in July a 3-week training session where it's usually from about 9 to 2 every day, where we integrate, focus on one concept each day or 2 concepts each day, both practical and theoretical underpinnings of whatever that concept is, and then we do practical application like role play, and usually a lot of modeling. And then what we have for our returning coaches is in June, we provide 2 to 3 weeks of training for reinforcement and for leadership development.
I should add that for those of you who weren't here last year, Pure Power places the students are in the classroom 9 to 12 hours a week. So it's a very substantial commitment. They know their kids well, the kids know them well, and unusually, as Tom referenced a little bit, it really began with faculty in the arts and sciences, and that brings a real content focus to what the students are learning and applying them learning pedagogical techniques how to make the students even better. They are typically what, freshmen, sophomores, college?
All the way up, Mary Grace was a grad student.
I was a PhD student and I was a success coach, and it definitely helped me with my finances. So.
Yeah, and they're paid, are you using federal studies here or?
Yeah, another innovation that, and one reason, another official reason to have it be, to have the staff members of Pure Power also be University of Memphis employees, is that we can now take advantage of the fact that this is an assignment through this partnership with the University of Memphis. So when they're out tutoring, let's say they're $12 an hour, that $9 an hour will be covered through, we'll pay them in University of Memphis student workers. And so we'll have to come up with $3 an hour, and Pure Power is not a foundation is reimbursing us for that, but $9 will be covered through the federal government. So actually we can reduce those costs to whoever's covering, whatever portion we're covering, or the school system or Peer Power Foundation. And about, as I said, at the University of Memphis, probably well over half of our students are work study eligible. So actually, that's another way of making costs quite realistic to the funder and still being able to pay the students well.
The videos led you to believe that maybe there's some strategic work done about seeking out scholarships. So it sounds like the tutors don't necessarily do that piece, or how does that work?
So interestingly enough, last year, this conference was wonderful for us to come with some ideas. Tom was here, so this is a lot of the changes that we made in last year that came from last year's conference. But last year we talked about how do we become a better partner with our partner, and the University of Memphis brought in, because of what we saw from Seattle, how they said, here's what you're eligible for. We went in and did that about a month and a half ago with students from Whitehaven, said, brought them in with their parents, did a tour, brought in the financial assistance, the admissions office, and talked about it. Our college counselors at these schools have been wonderful too. So we know that while those numbers of 188 million are big, and we know that they're going to take one scholarship. I mean, Leonard Fournette probably had $1 billion by himself a few years ago when he recruited. But now we're looking at those students that are going to be in Memphis, because that's us. That's who we are. We're focused on Memphis. And we're going to be able to help them transition to that next step, building our peer power coaches. And the schools that we're expanding to, we've already identified, more than a dozen students that are graduates of those schools that we can put into them next year. So they'll see people that look like them, that went to the schools, walk the halls, have the locker right there, and they can show that success. But there's nothing easy about it. I mean, it's work.
Let Edwin talk a little bit about the counselors, what they're doing, what Dr. Hunter has done there.
Yeah, actually, and I definitely agree with Dennis that we put some intentional focus around our counselors, making sure that when they talk to our students, that we're applying for scholarships early. And we're also asking our parents to, hey, believe in us, go through the application process with us, because we want to provide opportunities for our students. But we also want to show our students as well that there's nothing wrong staying inside of the city. Because many of our students, when they go off, and we were talking about the example coming down, that many of our students get accepted all across the nation. 2 weeks before they get ready to go, things come up. They have to pay for things, they go inside the room, and because of the situation, or because of their family situation, they may not be able to afford all of the other things that come along with college. So now we're saying you can stay at home. These are the things that we're offering. So we're very intentional about really having them to look at University of Memphis, because it's a great college. And I think for a long time, and we're guilty, that we wanted our students to have exposure. So when they got accepted to Yale, Harvard, we were all excited in the city, but didn't realize all of the things that they were going to be facing when they got there. And many of them returned home with no plan. So now we got to be intentional about making sure they have a plan, and with our counselors, we're working hand in hand. So that's part of their work.
Well, we have another panel, and I think we should thank the folks from Memphis enormously.